Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Great Millstone, Virginia. As always, the Gave Ladies news, articles, lessons, the Spirit and Power by Shemal Shai. But as always, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Shem Rakwakwadesh. I want to say double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who will teaching us the truth. And of course, I want to say peace and blessings and salutation to your Akamat, prisoners truth throughout the four corners of the earth, presenting to the best of their abilities. With that, I want to say shalom. Hey, I just want to let brothers know I just had a testimony, so I just wanted to edify through the spirit. And I want to get starting off with this. This is math. Before I get into that, let me tell you this just to sum it up. So basically, went to a restaurant, paid for it and everything, left out the store, and surely enough, this Edomite came out of nowhere, right? So you know how Esau usually do the talking. I don't got no money. Say, you got any change? But sometimes though, when you see their face though, and how the way they speak, it seemed like he was desperate. And how the way he was looking, it seemed like he was the type of guy, you know what the saying is, there's nothing more than a dangerous person that has nothing to lose. And of course, you have your demon with you. So, you have to think wisely, so what you have to do is, of course, that's why the scripture says, well, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability at thy times. I think Isaiah 33, if I'm correct. Let me see something right quick. Let me see. Yeah, Isaiah 33 and 6. Yeah, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability at thy times. But of course, this is Matthew chapter 5, verse 25. And it says, agree with thine adversary quickly, while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary shall deliver thee to the judge. And of course, primarily he's talking about, Esau, about dealing, with the, not getting yourself way more in trouble than what you already getting a ticket or citation. But I wanted to apply with anybody that you're dealing with, man. Mainly these bug outs, these homeless people, man. Because you have to understand that, we live in a time when, we never know, what, could happen, man. Especially you have family members, that could obviously, be in the way, So basically, ultimately, what I did was just say, whatever, just give him $5 and just let him be on his way. But of course, don't be scared or intimidated by him because we know that, us being Yasharallah, Prince of the Power, and, us being men, you got to have that demeanor. You got to have that strong spirit, and don't, be afraid, man, but just be wise and know what you're doing, man, and don't make it worse than what it is, man, because you never know, man, because you have to understand that, everything could be a trial or to a test, because you know that during the time of trouble, Jacob's trouble, things are going to be amped up to a reason where you're going to have to be dealing with certain individuals for a certain period of time that you don't want to deal with, or you have to have a conversation, stuff like that. That's what, some of our forefathers did, like Paul, Yahweh Shai, dealing, in the hood, dealing with dealing with niggas, wherever you're gonna go, you're just gonna find a 2/3 nigga anywhere, now, so you got these YNs, so, so just agree with us, it all depends on the it all depends on the situation of, of what you're dealing with, now, if you was by yourself, something like that, it all depends on your spirit, but you really got to be wise in what you really say. So I'm going to go ahead and get Romans 10, 12, and 18. This is Romans chapter 12, verse 18. And it says, if at all possible, as much as life and you, be peacefully with all men. So that's the first thing that you ever want to do is, be cordial with the man. Here's a little story, but, don't let it drag on and just say, oh, yeah, I feel sorry for you, whatever. And just give them a couple of dollars and just move on your way. Especially if you got money, you know what I'm saying? Just, like I said, we know that, like I said, we don't rely on these fake fiat, digital debt currencies, man. So just, what I'm saying? So just let it, so just, what I'm saying? So you got a couple of bucks or a couple dollars with your spirit, just let them have it and just move on your day and just make it simple, especially like you said before, especially if you got a family with you, what I'm saying? Like you said, because like I said before, you want to amp certain things out to the point where it doesn't need to be, and that's what I did. Just gave him a couple dollars and just move on his way. And it says, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give peace unto wrath, what is written. Because at the end of the day, like I said, he gonna give his judgment, at the end of the day. So it's whatever. I'm not worried about it. And let me see. Let me get this other scripture right quick. And here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. This is Proverbs chapter 25, verse 22. It says, if thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. And if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou shalt heap coals upon fire upon his head, and the Lord shall reward thee. So this is the whole point, of really the gist of it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, just do what you got to do to be by your means, and don't make it a hard situation to what it is, man. Especially for us in the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially we've been here for so many years. You already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it simple. That's what Scripture says, Lord, the author confusion. That's why I thank Yahweh Shimi Shai that I'm still in the truth and I'm learning every day, and the Lord gives me tests that I'm able to see and to and pass, man. Because if I didn't have the truth, who knows how, I could have been like, nah, and then, you're going crazy and shit like that, man. So, hey, call your Bashimi Shah. So that's why I'm letting brothers know, this is a prime example. Proverbs chapter 25, verse 22. So go ahead, let me get this other scripture. Let's get Matthew 10 and 16. I think I already read that, but I just want to make sure. God, this is in Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And like I said, just a vain thought, but he could have been an agent, whatever, just trying to provoke me to do something. And and it says, what, beware of men, for they deliver you up into councils, for they will scourge you in their synagogue. So, like I said, just not also applying to, dealing with these, law enforcement, but just people in general as well, man, because, like I said, there's nothing more dangerous for a person that has nothing to lose. So again, I'm not trying to be repetitious, but I highly key this is very important, edifying. That's why I wanted to bring it out as a testimony, because stuff like this has happened, just happened to me yesterday. So let me go and get this one last scripture. This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. And it says what? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, and against rulers of darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. So wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye be able to withstand in the evil day, of having done all to stand. Therefore stand, having your loins girded about the truth, and having your breastplate of faith, your whole truth, and your feet shod with preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherein ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. And that's the whole point, man. Praying, not when you just read the scriptures, don't read them, but apply them to your daily life, because it shall benefit you. Me as a, sometimes, when I interview people, I talk to them, get to know them, see what they're about, see if they're full of crap or full of truth. And, eventually, you'll find out, man. In this world, we deal with a whole bunch of personalities. That's one thing I know. There's a reference between, when you read Rush Hour 1, when Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker met. Chris Tucker always kept talking, being a loudmouth. And Jackie Chan has always been quiet. And he said what? He likes people for talking, so that way what he can tell them who's full of crap or full of not. So, so sometimes, like you watch movies, you got to listen to what they say, man, because I tell you, this world will give you some wisdom, but the truth will give you all the wisdom and knowledge that you need to able to stand in the day of, in the day of wickedness. So, that was just pretty much it, just to give you testimony, so like I said, it was just something quick to edify, not to be long, but just get straight to the point. So other than that, hopefully brothers edified. This is Great Millstone, Virginia, as always, to give you the latest articles, news, lessons through the spirit and power of Bashim Yahshai. And as always, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor due to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim Rakakwadash. I want to say double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, who were teaching us the truth. And of course, as always, I want to say peace and blessings and salutations to you, Akamat, that putting this truth throughout the four corners of the earth, to the best of the best, got the four corners of the earth. With them, I say shalom and kwam inshallah.